calculate system function or frequency response, then magnitude response, frequency response, then impulse response, calculation of impulse response, then response of a system. Now we will see system bandwidth and rise time. These two are another important parameters. Bandwidth. What is bandwidth? You know, like amplifier. See, amplifier. Most widely used amplifier is common emitter. There is a procedure to calculate bandwidth of amplifier. How? Take output for different frequencies, like input side vary frequency for different frequency of signals. Take output and take the ratio between output to input. That is called system function. System function or gain of the amplifier, and identify maximum amplitude in the gain, and take RMS value, that is maximum value by √2. Draw one horizontal line at that moment, and that horizontal line may cut the curve at two places. Call it as lower cutoff frequency and upper cutoff frequency. The difference between upper cutoff frequency and lower cutoff frequency is nothing but bandwidth of an amplifier. If bandwidth is more, then that is good amplifier circuit, like that. Okay, first of all, what is bandwidth? Bandwidth, the range of frequencies for which the magnitude response, that is modulus of h of omega of the system function, remains within 1 by √2 of its maximum amplitude. Means gain of the range of frequencies at that moment, gain of the amplifier or system, whatever, that is almost constant, or that is 1 by √2 times of its maximum amplitude. If omega L and omega H are positive values, then the bandwidth is the difference between upper cutoff frequency and lower cutoff frequency. The difference between upper cutoff frequency and lower cutoff frequency is nothing but bandwidth of the amplifier when lower cutoff frequency is positive. Sometimes we may get the negative lower cutoff frequency. Negative frequencies does not exist in real domain. Then we will take like bandwidth is equal to upper cutoff frequency only. Take it as 0. Like if it is a negative value, simply take omega h. Omega h is nothing but bandwidth. See here, A is nothing but maximum amplitude of the system function or frequency response, and omega L is nothing but lower cutoff frequency, which is measured in radians per second, and upper cutoff frequency, it is also measured in radians per second. Then coming to rise time. See, take any system, give some input, maybe a step input like that, give some input and observe the output. And how the output varies, like how the output amplitude varies. Observe that. Like from 0 to infinity, suppose if t value increases, if time value increases, observe the output, how the output varies. Okay, identify maximum amplitude of that response. Then take 10% of that maximum amplitude and 90% of that maximum amplitude. 90% of the amplitude. Then take a horizontal line that cuts the response at some moment. Call it as take it as some time t1 or t2, like that. Okay, take for 90% corresponding time is t2. For 10% corresponding time is t1. Now time required for the response. Time required for the response to reach y of t or whatever response from 10% of maximum amplitude to 90% of maximum value. If the response is changing from 0 to 100%, for settle the response, take 10%, means the minimum value, 10% to 90%. How much time required for the response to reach from 10% of maximum value to 90% of maximum value? That is the difference between T2 and T1. That is T2 minus T1 is called rise time. It is measured in seconds. An important concept here is bandwidth is always inversely proportional to rise time. Bandwidth is always inversely proportional to rise time. Now this is one important question. In examination, they will ask some not only for low pass filter, for any circuit they will ask what is bandwidth or what is rise time and what is the relation between bandwidth and rise time for that particular circuit, like that. Okay, here it is most widely used circuit in our electronics, called as RC low pass filter. RC low pass filter, they're asking four different things like frequency response. One is frequency response, another one is magnitude response and bandwidth, then step response and rise time, then relation between bandwidth and rise time. These are the four different questions they're asking. Okay, see, it is a RC low pass filter. You know, if you interchange R and C value, you may get RC high pass filter. RC high pass filter. How it acts as a low pass filter? Very clear. Apply a signal with low frequency. Low frequency. If frequency of the signal is low, then capacitive reactance is equal to 1 by omega c. 1 by omega c. If frequency is very low, 1 by omega c is nothing but very high. Very high means what? If the impedance or whatever reactance or whatever resistance is very high, then that element may be open circuited. Open circuited. Capacitor gets open circuited for low frequencies. If it is opened, then whatever input you have given, same thing is appeared across output terminal. Output terminal means output is equal to input when input frequency is low. Meaning of that is this circuit allows low frequency signals as it is without any disturbance, without any distortion, without any noise. Okay, then coming to high frequency. If the input signal frequency is high, then capacitive reactance becomes 1 by very high. 1 by very high means very low. Very low means what? Short circuited. Capacitor gets short circuited. Capacitor gets short circuited for high frequencies. Output across a short wire. Output across a short wire is 0 always. Means this circuit does not allow high frequency signals. For high frequency signals, output is 0. For low frequency signals, output is equal to input. Therefore, this circuit acts as a low pass filter. Now here requirement. What is frequency response? They're asking. What is frequency response? Frequency response is nothing but output by input in frequency domain representation. Output by input in frequency domain representation. See, what is output? Y of t. Frequency domain, y of omega. Y of omega by x of omega. Input in frequency domain. Output across capacitor. Output across capacitor. Then that output, that impedance or whatever reactance is nothing but 1 by j omega c. Output is 1 by j omega c into some current flow. Okay, divided by input impedance. Like input impedance, what is input impedance here? These two are connected in series. Series combination of R and C is R plus 1 by j omega c. Okay, that is the way to calculate transfer function or system function of any system. Okay, now take j omega RC LCM here. J omega RC LCM. What happens? 1 divided by j omega RC means here what we get? 1 plus j omega RC. 1 plus j omega RC. J omega RC gets cancelled. It is simply 1 divided by 1 plus j omega. That's all. That is the procedure to calculate system function or transfer function or frequency response of any type of system. If it is a big network, then we can go for some loop analysis or mesh analysis. We have to apply some electrical circuit concepts. Okay, by using those loop analysis or mesh analysis, we can compute system function or transfer function. 1 minute. frequency response or system function or transfer function of any system is the ratio between output to input in frequency domain representation. Okay, that is the way, that is the procedure to calculate system function or transfer function. In general, frequency domains are complex in nature. That's why we can go for magnitude and phase separately. Now, take magnitude of this. Is called magnitude response. Magnitude response. Magnitude response modulus of h of omega is equal to modulus of this. Numerator is 1 only, divided by square root of c 1 square plus omega rc whole square. That is 1 plus omega rc whole square. It is the magnitude response of RC low pass filter. Magnitude response of RC low pass filter. Now coming to graphical representation, see, if omega is equal to 0, its amplitude 1 by 1 plus 0, that is 1 only. 1 is the amplitude. Maximum amplitude occurs at horizon. If omega increases, like omega is equal to 1 by RC, 2 by RC, 3 by RC, like if omega increases, automatically 1 by increases, amplitude decreases non-linearly. And it is a even signal, it is even function. Even function, it is symmetrical about y-axis. Okay. Now, how to calculate bandwidth? Of any system? Okay, procedure is take maximum amplitude. Here, maximum amplitude is 1, and take maximum value by root 2. Call it as RMS. Draw a horizontal line. That horizontal line cuts the curve at 2 locations. Take those two locations like omega L and omega H, lower cutoff frequency and upper cutoff frequency. Now, the difference between upper cutoff frequency and lower cutoff frequency is called bandwidth of any circuit. If omega L is positive. If omega L is negative, if it is negative, here it is negative value. If omega L is negative, then take it as 0 is the minimum value. Otherwise, directly take bandwidth is nothing but upper cutoff frequency, that is omega H minus 0. Because negative frequencies does not exist in real domain. In real spectrum, negative frequencies does not exist. Frequency means some value like 90 megahertz or 102.6 megahertz, like that cannot be a negative value. Therefore, take bandwidth as omega H when omega L is negative. Now, how to calculate? See, at omega is equal to omega H, very clear. If omega is equal to omega H, system gain response, whatever magnitude response is how much? 1 by root 2. H of omega, modulus of H of omega is 1 by root 2 when omega is equal to omega H. You use that condition. If omega is equal to omega H, then modulus of H of omega is equal to 1 by root 2. That is RMS value. Use this restriction to calculate upper cutoff frequency of any type of circuit. This is the standard form where the frequency response or magnitude response is always equal to maximum value by root 2. That is 1 divided by 1 plus, it is actually omega RC whole square. Take it as omega H RC whole square is equal to 1 by root 2. Squaring on both sides and go for cross multiplication, it will become 1 plus omega H RC whole square is equal to 2. Otherwise, omega H RC whole square is equal to 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1, that is 1. Omega H RC is equal to plus or minus 1. Omega H RC is equal to plus or minus 1. That is omega H is equal to 1 by RC. Omega H is equal to 1 by RC. Here it is plus or minus 1. You can take plus or minus. Whatever minus you will get. Minus 1 by RC, that is lower cutoff. These are symmetry. It is symmetrical about y-axis. It is positive value. It is negative value. Here omega H and omega L both are same in magnitude and direction is opposite. That's all. Okay, here lower cutoff frequency is minus 1 by RC, upper cutoff frequency is 1 by RC. Now bandwidth is equal to simply upper cutoff frequency because lower cutoff frequency is negative. Therefore, bandwidth of RC low pass filter is this is standard question. Standard question, we have to know answers. But in examination, there will be a different circuit. No, then we have to calculate bandwidth by using this procedure. We have to know the procedure. Okay, 1 by RC radians per second. Omega is measured in radians per second. If you want to measure in hertz, if you want to write the answer in terms of hertz, divided with 2 pi. 2 pi because omega is equal to 2 pi f. Omega is equal to 2 pi f. Then f is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC. 1 by 2 pi RC hertz. That is the way. That is the way to calculate bandwidth of any type of circuit. Bandwidth of any type of circuit. Now, step response. Step response. Rise time can be calculated from step response. Bandwidth can be calculated from magnitude response. Magnitude response is required to calculate bandwidth. Step response is required to calculate rise time. Okay, rise time is another important parameter. That is, if x of t is equal to u of t, start with take unit step signal, apply unit step signal as input to the system. Apply unit step signal as input to the system and observe the output. Whatever output you'll get is called step response. Step response is nothing but output of a linear time invariant system for an input of u of t. U of t. Now we know impulse and step signals are related like this. Differentiation of step signal. Differentiation of step signal is equal to impulse signal. Differentiation of step signal is equal to impulse signal. That is, h of t is equal to d by dt of s of t. How we will get this one? H of t is equal to d by dt of s of t. Okay, this is differentiation of unit step signal is nothing but impulse signal. What is s of t? Step response. Step response means what? If input is u of t, then output is called step response for any system. If input is delta of t, then response is called impulse response. Impulse response is nothing but output of a system when input is delta of t. Okay, analogous. Now, output of a system when input is u of t is called step response. Step response means is output of a system when input of u of t. Therefore, we can take the analogous part of this. Okay, h of t is equal to d by dt of s of t. This is another important relation actually. Relation between impulse response and step response. Impulse response and step response. Now, step response is equal to, from this formula, opposite to this, step response is equal to integration of impulse response. Integral, that is 0 to t h of t dt. Okay. Now we know h of t. Impulse response already have calculated in previous problem. Same thing, that is 1 by RC e power minus t by RC. Already have computed that impulse response in previous case. Impulse response. See this one. Impulse response. How to calculate impulse response? Inverse Fourier transform of system function. Inverse Fourier transform of system function. That is called impulse response. That is 1 by RC e power minus t by RC u of t. Okay. There is a procedure to calculate impulse response and there is a procedure to calculate step response. Okay. Now here calculate step response. Based on step response only, we can evaluate rise time. Okay. Step response s of t is equal to 0 to t h of t dt. This is impulse response. Take the integration of this. There is 1 by RC. Integration of e power something is e power same part divided by coefficient of t. Substitute upper and lower limits. If you substitute upper and lower limit, it will become e power minus t by RC minus e power 0, 1 divided by minus 1. Minus 1. Multiply with minus 1. Numerator, denominator. It will become 1 minus e power minus 1 by RC into t u of t. These are the different parameters of a system. These are different important parameters of any system. That may be low pass filter or high pass filter or some other circuit. Okay, this is the step response. Step response means what? If input is u of t, if input is u of t, then the output is called step response s of t. S of the red color. This red color is step response. Step response means that is the output of a system when input is step. If the input like this, if it is applied to the RC low pass filter circuit, then capacitor start charging initially zero. Capacitor start charging, goes on amplitude increasing, charging. Finally, you'll get 100% charging. 100% charging. Okay, now here question is how that is charging. How? 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, like dash 90. How much time required? How much time required for the response to reach 10% of maximum value to 90% of maximum value? Maximum value is one only. One. 10% means 0.1, 0.1 to 0.9. Whatever time required is called rise time. It is the difference between T2 minus T1. It is very clear. Here y of t is ready-made from here. Y of t is ready-made. Substitute y of t1 equal to 0.1. Similarly, substitute T2. T is equal to T2 and equate to 0.9. 0.9 is the amplitude at T2. At T1, 0.1 is the amplitude. See, at T is equal to T1. At T is equal to T1, S of T1 is equal to 0.1. See, S of T1, step response. S of T1 is equal to 0.1. Use this condition and evaluate T1. Similarly, use T is equal to T2. Substitute T is equal to T2 in Y of T and equate to 0.9 to get T2. Okay, a T is equal to T1, S of T1 is equal to 0.9. What is S of T? 1 minus e power minus 1 by RC into T. T means T1 is equal to 0.1. Now calculate T1 here. E power minus 1 by RC T1 is equal to 1 minus 0.1. You can write here if you want 1 minus 0.1. 1 minus 0.1. That is 0.9. Similarly, at T is equal to T2. At T is equal to T2. S of T2. S of T2 corresponds 90%, 0.9. 0.9. Then that is 1 minus e power minus 1 by RC T2 is equal to how much here? This is 0.9 actually. This is equal to 0.9 minus 0.1.
Mm.
Sir, not audible, sir.
Now screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Voice is voice.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Oh, oh, thank you. Okay, distortionless transmission through a system. In communication, if the output wave shape is exactly equal to input wave shape, then the transmission is called distortionless communication, or that system is called distortionless transmission system, where output wave shape is exactly equal to input wave shape. But practically that is not possible. Not possible means their output may be sometimes amplified form, or output may be weak signal when compared to input. That is one thing. Means output may be equal to some constant into input. That is one case. And another case is output may be delayed. Output may be delayed. Delay means not like 1 minute delay or 2 minutes delay. There may be a delay. The delay may be 1 microsecond, 1 millisecond, 1 microsecond or 1 millisecond or 2 milliseconds, like that. There may be a delay between output and input, that is possible always. And there is a gain, means output by input is not always equal to 1. Not all, ideally, okay, ideal means what? Output is exactly equal to input, then what is the gain of the system? Output by input is always 1. But that is not possible practically. For every practical communication system, for every practical case where the output y of t, where the output y of t is equal to constant into a of constant into x of t minus td, it is time domain characteristics, time domain characteristics of distortionless transmission system. Distortionless transmission system, time domain characteristics, where y of t is equal to constant into constant, that is a into x of t minus td, where a is nothing but gain of the communication system, and td is nothing but delay between output and input, where the delay must be very very low, that may be order of milliseconds or order of microseconds or order of nanoseconds. Now relation between output y of t and input x of t of a distortionless communication system is y of t is equal to a into x of t minus td, that is time domain characteristics of distortionless communication system. Now to obtain frequency domain, we need both. In the analysis purpose, for the analysis purpose, we need both time domain and frequency domain analysis. Okay, now to obtain frequency domain analysis of distortionless communication system, apply Fourier transform. Apply Fourier transform both sides to obtain frequency domain characteristics. Frequency domain characteristics, that is Fourier transform y of t left side, Fourier transform y of t right side, Fourier transform of a into x of t minus td. What is Fourier transform y of t? Y of omega. Y of omega. And Fourier transform of a into x of t minus td. A is constant. Then apply time shifting property of Fourier transform here. Time shifting property of Fourier transform, that is e power minus j omega td, e power minus j omega delay, that is td into x of omega. Now the ratio output by input in frequency domain representation is called system response or system function, that is h of omega is equal to a e power minus j omega td. It is the system function of distortionless communication system. We have to know these formulas. We have to know these formulas. Time domain characteristics of distortionless transmission system. Y of t is equal to a into x of t minus td. And frequency domain characteristics means system function or transfer function or frequency response is a e power minus j omega td. It is complex. It is complex form. Now take magnitude and phase. Magnitude response. Magnitude response of a distortionless system is constant and bandwidth is infinity. These are the characteristics of, or frequency domain characteristics of distortionless communication system. Magnitude, what is the magnitude of this? Modulus of this is modulus of a into modulus of e power minus j omega td. Modulus of e power j theta is always 1. Modulus of e power j theta is always 1. Therefore, magnitude, that is modulus of h of omega, is always a constant. Modulus of h of omega is constant. Constant means it does not vary with frequency. It does not vary with On the x-axis, we have taken frequency, and on the y-axis, magnitude response. That magnitude response is constant for a wide range of frequencies. Okay, that is one important point. Magnitude spectrum or magnitude response is always constant for every distortionless system that does not depend on frequency. And another one is phase response. Phase response of a distortionless communication is linear. Linear phase characteristics. Linear phase characteristics means here phase. What is the phase here? Minus omega TD. Minus omega TD is nothing but phase. Minus omega TD. It is of the form y is equal to minus mx. Y is equal to minus mx, passing to second quadrant and fourth quadrant. Second and fourth. If omega is positive, positive, then phase is negative. Negative phase for positive frequency. If frequency is negative, for negative frequency, positive phase. Okay, it is linear line. It is a straight line of the form y is equal to minus mx. Therefore, outcome of this distortionless communication system is time domain characteristics of distortionless communication system. Y of t is equal to a into x of t minus t naught. Frequency domain characteristics, that is h of omega is equal to a e power minus j omega td, where a is nothing but gain of the communication system, and td is nothing but delay between output and input. Then magnitude response of distortionless system is constant, and bandwidth is infinity. Why bandwidth is infinity here? If we take how to calculate lower cutoff and upper cutoff frequency, take maximum value by √2, and take lower cutoff and upper cutoff. Definitely the upper cutoff is infinity, lower cutoff is minus infinity because of constant line, constant amplitude. Okay, therefore bandwidth is nothing but infinity. Infinity bandwidth is not possible practically. These are ideal characteristics. Distortionless system is a ideal one, not practical. Okay, and phase response is always linear. Magnitude is constant, phase is linear. Okay, these are the characteristics of any distortionless communication system. Okay, already have completed bandwidth and rise time. At that time, I don't know whether my voice is audible or not. Relation between bandwidth and rise time for a very low pass filter circuit. Bandwidth of RC low pass filter circuit can be computed from the formula 1 by 2 pi RC. 1 by 2 pi RC hertz, and rise time of low pass filter can be calculated from the formula 2.197 RC. 2.197 RC, and product between bandwidth and rise time is 1 by 2 pi RC into 2.197 RC. That is RC gets cancelled, 0.3. It is a fixed value. Bandwidth rise time product of every low pass filter that does not depends on R value and C value, 0.35. In competitive examinations, we may get questions how in multiple choice what is the relation between bandwidth and rise time of RC low pass filter. It is inversely proportional, and that may be represented like this. TR is equal to 0.35 by bandwidth, and there is a procedure already I have explained completely. Okay, how to evaluate bandwidth and how to evaluate rise time. The next topic is filter characteristics of linear systems. First of all, what is filter, and what are the filter characteristics of linear system? In general, filters are used to extract required information and attenuate all other unwanted things. In our daily life, we are using so many filters. In houses also, we are using filters. Maybe a water filter to get pure water, we are using a filter, water filter, or coffee filter to get pure coffee. Can use coffee filters, and already studied in our EDC course also. EDC course like rectifiers and filters. Okay, regulator power supply is most widely used device in our laboratory. Regulated power supply. Why? What is the need of regulator power supply? Our outside line produces pure AC, but almost all electrical circuits require DC source of power. Almost all electronic circuits requires DC source of power. How to get DC source of power? For low power systems, you can go for batteries. For high power systems, batteries are not economical. That's why we can go for RPS. RPS, regulated power supply, is a device which produces constant output regarding variations in input. Means input is AC. Our line supply produces AC. To get DC, constant current, we can go for RPS. Inside RPS, there are so many sections. First section is called a transformer. We can use transformer. Generally, step-down transformers are used because we are getting 230 volts. Convert the 230 volts into 12 volts or 18 volts or 24 volts like that. That is also AC only. Now to convert that AC to pulsating DC, you can go for rectifiers. Rectifier converts pure AC to pulsating DC. Next, to get pure DC, we can go for filters. There, capacitive filters are there. Inductive filters you can use, or combinations, CL filters, CLC filters, pi section filters, L section filters. There are so many types of filters used in regulated power supply to get what? Pure DC, where DC is required. To get that DC component, you can go for rectifier circuit. And in amplifier also. In amplifier, see, in common emitter amplifier, there is a base capacitor. Base CB and RB. RB is base resistance, CB is base capacitor. Base capacitor. What is the use of that capacitor? That capacitor blocks DC and freely allows AC. Blocks DC actually. In rectifiers, in RPS, capacitor allows AC. But in amplifier CB, our amplifiers are AC amplifiers. Our task is to amplify weak electrical AC signals. To amplify AC signals only, we are using amplifier. Means if any DC present in that input, the DC may be blocked by using that blocking capacitor. That capacitor acts as a filter. There. Okay. Like there are so many types of filters. Coming to communication. Those are filters used in electronics. Now, in communication, filter can be defined as frequency selective devices for various frequency signals. Suppose in a single wire, we are getting so many channels. To get a particular channel, we can go for a narrow band filter. We are pressing number and remote like 743 like that. Immediately, we are getting a channel. There, the function is a narrow band where we are selecting a frequency, not number. Like we are selecting a frequency like 95.6 gigahertz or 102.4 megahertz like that. We are selecting a frequency is called that is a narrow band filter. If you want low frequency signals, you can go for low pass filter. To get high frequency filters, go for high pass filters. Okay, filter can be defined as a frequency selective device. You can choose frequencies from any filter for various frequencies. Then what are characteristics of filter? What happens if filter is used? If filter is used, some frequency components may be boosted in strength. That is important. Due to filtering, some frequency components may be boosted in strength. What boosted in strength? Required frequency components. Maybe filter where frequency components may be required, may not be required. If required, that required thing may be improved. That is boosted in strength. That is one outcome. Then some frequency components may be attenuated. What attenuated? Unwanted things. Unwanted frequency components that is not required. No, that's why those things may be attenuated or removed or eliminated. And some frequency components may be unchanged. Means exact transmission. Means exact transmission is there due to filtering. Exact transmission is there. Removal is there. Boosted in strength is also there. Improved form. Filter can improve required thing. Filter can eliminate unwanted thing. Filter produces as it is. Exact transmission. Whatever input given, same thing is transmitted to output terminal. Okay. These three are the characteristics of any type of linear system. Any type of linear system that may be filter. For a distortionless filter, the output wave shape is exact replica of input wave shape over specified or required band of frequencies. Already we have seen frequency signals and attenuate all other unwanted frequency signals. Okay, for a distortionless filter, the output wave shape is exact replica of input wave shape, not completely, not over wide range of frequency, over specified band. For suppose for low pass filter, low pass filter allows only low frequencies over that certain band. That certain band means where amplitude spectrum is almost constant, like that. Okay, based on frequency response, filters are classified into 4 types. Based on frequency response, filters are classified into 4 types: low pass filter, high pass filter, band pass filter, band stop filter. Low pass filter allows only low frequency signals and attenuate all other high frequency signals. Similarly, high pass filter allows only high frequency signals. Sometimes we are telling like high pass filter allows high frequencies, not high frequencies. Frequency is not available in market. Signals, we are getting signals, we are transmitting signals. That signal has some frequency. That signal has some frequency. That frequency may be high frequency or low frequency. Okay, here high pass filter allows high frequency signals, not high frequencies. High frequency signals and attenuate all other low frequency signals. Band pass filter allows only a certain band of frequency signals and attenuate all other unwanted band of frequency signals. Then band stop filter. Band stop filter eliminates. Band stop filter allows entire band of frequency except unwanted band, except unwanted band or a narrow band. Okay, that is band stop filter is also known as band reject filter or band elimination filter. Band elimination filter, it allows entire band of frequency signals and attenuate a narrow band or unwanted band of frequency. Then coming to characteristics, what are characteristics of low pass? See the magnitude, the ideal characteristics and practical characteristics. Already explained. Magnitude spectrum of distortionless is constant. See here it is constant magnitude over required band of frequency. Suppose low pass filter allows low frequencies from minus omega c to plus omega c, where gain of the system is constant 1 by exact transmission. Output by input, output is equal to input. Then what is output by input? 1 means gain of any distortionless system is 1 over specified band of frequencies. That specified band may varies from filter to filter. For low pass filter it is minus omega c to plus omega c. Actually every periodic thing may be extending from minus pi to plus pi over one cycle length, that is 2 pi period. In that between minus omega c and plus omega c, it is constant, practically not constant, practically like this red shape. That red color shows practical characteristics of low pass filter, and this square shape, square or rectangle shape, is ideal characteristics of a low pass filter. We have to know these characteristics. Similarly, high pass filter allows all high frequency signals between cutoff frequency and pi. Pi is the limit for every filter. More than pi is not possible. Okay. High pass filter allows high frequencies from omega c to pi, where gain is 1. Gain of the filter is 1. Gain of any filter, any system is 1 between required band of frequency. That required band is from omega c to pi in the case of high pass filter. Theoretically, you can take negative also, but practically we need to consider only positive range. And here also low pass means 0 to omega c, that's all, not minus omega c. That is not practical. Theoretically, we need to consider both negative frequencies and positive frequencies. Then band pass filter. Band pass filter allows only a certain band of frequency. See, this is the band, required band from omega c1 to omega c2. Remaining things are eliminated, removed. All remaining things are eliminated. High pass filter only high frequency signals over required band of frequency. Similarly, band stop filter. Band stop is a locking system like lock in remote. Band stop means it allows entire all frequencies in the range from minus pi to plus pi, and attenuate only a unwanted thing. Unwanted thing may be eliminated. This is the unwanted thing between omega c1 and omega c2. That's why it is band reject or band elimination filter. These are the filter characteristics of linear system. Another important topic is physically realizable systems and polyvariate criterion. What are physically realizable systems? All practical systems are physically realizable. All practical systems are physically realizable. What are practical systems? All causal systems are physically realizable, where present output depends on present. Means right now you are getting something, some information, you are storing some information in your brain based on my lecture and past lectures. Based on past lectures, already have stored some information in your brain. Whenever you want, retrieve those things. That is called memory. Now present output. Now your understanding capability depends on my lecture and past lectures. Means for every causal system, present output depends on present input, past inputs and past outputs. Does not depends on future. Does not depends on future. Now see some important concept here. A physically realizable system cannot have a response before the driving function is applied. A physically realizable system cannot have a response before the driving function is applied. Means before giving input. Without giving input, suppose we can get some output. That is not physically realizable. How? That is not at all practical. Means before driving function is applied, before giving any input, if you are getting some output, means that is not physically realizable. We cannot design such thing. That is not practical thing actually. Okay. Therefore, a physically realizable system cannot have a response. Means output is zero. When input is zero. If there no input means no output. Okay. That is the first restriction. For every physical reliable system must satisfy this restriction. And second one, impulse response of physically realizable system is 0 for t less than 0. Impulse response is most widely used parameter in signals and systems. Impulse response means apply impulse signal as input to the system and observe the output. Apply impulse signal as input to the system and observe the output. Whatever output you got is called impulse response. That impulse response is 0 when t is negative. T is negative means negative time. If t is negative, then impulse response is 0. Means impulse response is always right-sided, not left-sided. Impulse response of physically realizable system is right-sided. Then next statement is physically realizable systems are always causal and practical. Already told you. Physically realizable systems are always causal and practical. What is that? Causal and practical, where the present output y of t depends on present input, past inputs and past outputs. Does not depends on future inputs and future outputs. The next one is a system having system function h of z. A system having system function h of omega in omega domain, h of omega is said to be physically realizable if and only if the squared magnitude spectrum is absolutely integrable. System function is nothing but output by input in frequency domain representation. Magnitude, modulus of that is nothing but magnitude spectrum. Squared magnitude spectrum, integration is less than infinity. Meaning of this is absolutely integrable. Squared magnitude spectrum is absolutely integrable. In general, h of omega is in complex form. Get it real, taking magnitude, and that may consist of some roots and everything. Square it and integrate it, and substitute upper limit and lower limit, infinity and minus infinity. If it is finite, then given system is called physically realizable. Every physically realizable system must satisfy this restriction. It is very important condition. Okay, another one. Finally, necessary and sufficient condition for every physically realizable system. Every physically realizable system, there is a necessary and sufficient condition. Call it as Pauli-Wanner criterion. Pauli-Wanner criterion is a necessary and sufficient condition of a physically realizable system. Every physically realizable system must satisfy this restriction. It's a necessary statement. That necessary statement is same thing like squared magnitude spectrum is absolutely integrable here. Similarly, take magnitude spectrum, take logarithm and magnitude, means it is a positive value, divided with 1 plus omega square and integrate it. It is also finite like this. finite. It is finite, not infinity. Sometimes there is a possibility to get infinity result because it is a mathematical thing. No, this mathematical form finally produces infinite result. If it is infinity, then given system is not a physically realizable. These are the various restrictions comes under physically realizable systems. Next topic is autocorrelation function and its properties. It is another important topic. You may get questions on this in competitive examination. Autocorrelation function. What is this autocorrelation function? Suppose if we know one signal x of t. If we know one signal x of t, that may be anything, continuous time signal. Take delayed or advanced form. Take delayed or advanced form means original signal, shift that signal to left or right. If you know some original signal, shift that signal to left or right. Then compare original signal with shifted signal. In that comparison, we may get some special outcome. In that comparison means not theoretical comparison. Mathematically, we may get some special function in that comparison is called autocorrelation function. Autocorrelation function is the measure. It is the measure of similarity between a signal x of t and delayed form of same signal x of t, that is x of t plus tau, that is represented with x of t plus tau or t minus tau also correct, no problem. You can take t minus, that may be advance or delay. And autocorrelation function, auto means same signal. Auto means same. Cross means not same, opposite, like different signals. And autocorrelation function is represented with Rx of tau. It is most widely used parameter in communication. While noise is entered, disturbance is there in communication, then for the analysis purpose, what happens in the communication system, where it is wrong and how to rectify all those things. For that, we can go for time domain and frequency domain analysis. Those analysis involves autocorrelation function, cross correlation function, energy spectral density, power spectral density. These are the 4 parameters, required parameters used in the analysis of noise things in communication system. Okay, now it is represented with Rxx of tau, and it can be computed from the formula Rxx of tau is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t, it looks like convolution formula, but it is not convolution. It is similar to convolution. X of t plus tau dt. X of t is original signal. X of t plus tau is delayed or advanced form. We can take minus tau also. Both formulas use same answer. If you take plus tau or minus tau, both are same. Dt. If x of t is non-periodic signal. If it is a periodic signal, then take this formula. It is used for periodic signal. Limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integral minus t to plus t x of t plus tau dt. Same formula is, both are similar, but for periodic we need to take periodic extension and apply as limit t tends to infinity. Means every periodic signal must repeat itself at regular intervals over a period. That period may be t or 2t. That is our interest. If it is 2t, like if the period is 2t, take 1 by 2t minus t to plus t. Suppose if you take capital T, if capital T is the period, then take here 1 by capital T minus t by 2 to plus t by 2. That is also correct, no problem. Okay, and apply as limit t tends to infinity, because periodic signals are extending from minus infinity to plus infinity with repetition cycles. Okay, if x of t is periodic signal. And some important properties, see, autocorrelation function Rxx of tau is always even function tau. We have to know how it looks like. Means in examination they will give which of the following is a valid autocorrelation function. Then we need to check. We need to pick up correct answer. We have to check whether it is even or not. If it is even, okay. Every autocorrelation function Rxx of tau is even functions. Even function means what? Rxx of minus tau is equal to Rxx of tau. Then total energy under the signal x of t can be computed. Sometimes in examination they will ask what is the total energy under the signal x of t, and they will give autocorrelation function rx x of tau, Then blindly substitute tau is equal to 0. That's all. The value of autocorrelation function at tau is equal to 0. The value of autocorrelation function at tau is equal to 0 is called total energy under that signal. Under that signal, total energy under any signal can be computed by using autocorrelation function by substituting tau is equals to 0. Next, third property. Maximum value of autocorrelation function. Maximum value of autocorrelation function Rxx of tau occurs at horizon. Whatever value of that energy, total energy Rxx of 0, that is the maximum value. That is the maximum amplitude. Sometimes that the maximum amplitude may be repeated if it is a periodic one. We will see one example also. Next, if x of t is energy signal, if x of t may be energy signal, power signal. If x of t is energy signal, then the frequency domain of autocorrelation function is called energy spectral density. Energy spectral density is nothing but that is in frequency domain. Energy spectral density is nothing but that is defined in frequency domain. That is simply the frequency domain representation of autocorrelation function when the given signal is energy signal. These are linked everything. Like if x of t is energy signal, then the frequency domain representation of Rxx of tau is called ESD, energy spectral density. Energy spectral density, that is represented with psi xx of omega. Psi xx of omega, that can be computed from the formula integral minus infinity to plus infinity, like x of t e power minus j omega t dt. That's all. Very simple. Frequency domain representation of autocorrelation function is called energy spectral density if given signal x of t is energy signal. Similarly, if given signal is power signal, okay, we'll see that is next statement is for an energy signal. It is another important property. Autocorrelation function and energy spectral density form Fourier transform pairs. There are standard pairs like impulse signal and DC signals are Fourier transformable pairs. Rectangular signal and sinc signals are Fourier transformable pairs. Triangular signal and sinc square signals are Fourier transformable pairs. Gaussian signal and Gaussian signals are Fourier transformable pairs. That is a special case actually. Fourier transform of Gaussian signal is Gaussian signal only. Fourier transform of Gaussian signal is Gaussian signal only. Similarly, autocorrelation function and energy spectral density form Fourier transformable pairs. Fourier transformable pairs. Now coming to power signals. If x of t is power signal, then the frequency domain of autocorrelation function is called power spectral density. This is another important condition. If x of t is power signal, then the frequency domain of autocorrelation function is called power spectral density, and it is represented with Sxx of omega. Means Fourier transform of Rxx of tau is Sxx of omega. That can be computed from the formula integral minus equal to plus infinity Rxx of tau e power minus j omega tau d tau. What is the meaning of this? For every power signal, autocorrelation function and power spectral density form Fourier transformable pairs. Autocorrelation function and energy spectral density form Fourier transformable pairs when x of t is energy signal. Now here statement is autocorrelation function and power spectral density form Fourier transformable pairs when the given signal is power signal. Now last topic, cross correlation function. Cross correlation function. Cross means suppose if we know the system with input x of t and output y of t. Now our task is to compare input and output. Both. How to compare? By using the function cross correlation function. If you want to compare like input and delayed form, go for autocorrelation. If you want to compare output and its delayed form, go for autocorrelation function. Autocorrelation function of input, we can do Autocorrelation function of output is also, that is practical. Now, between input and output, how to compare input and output? By using cross correlation function. It is the measure of similarity between a signal x of t and delayed form of another signal y of t. Different, that's why it is a cross correlation function. Another signal y of t. That is y of t plus tau. Y of t plus tau is called cross correlation function. It is represented with r x y of tau. Like r x x, it is represented with r x y of tau, and it can be computed. It is similar to previous, just difference rxy instead of rxx, same integration, same x of t, but in second, the second signal previously x of t plus tau, same signal. Now take second is y, that's all. Second is y. Here we are comparing x of t and y of t plus tau. First one original, second one shifted one. Shifted, that may be left shift or right shift. Here x of t and y of t are periodic, same. If these are periodic signals, then we need to take the periodic extension, that may be from minus t to plus t. Between minus t and plus t, integrate it and take 1 by 2t, that is average, and apply as limit t tends to infinity to get wide range of time. Means periodic signals are extending from minus infinity to plus infinity over with repetitions, maybe from minus t to plus t is one cycle length. Then coming to properties. If x of t and y of t are orthogonal, perpendicular, x of t and y of t are orthogonal, then cross correlation function is 0. If x of t and y of t are orthogonal, then cross correlation function is 0. Then folding form of the cross correlation function rxy of tau is ryx of tau. Here cross correlation between x and y is different, y and x are different. How those two are different means with folding operation, with time reversal operation. In magnitude both are same, but interchange, like folding, take folding form of rxy of tau to get ryx of tau. That is rxy of minus tau is equal to ryx of tau. It is second property. First property is, if x of t and y of t are orthogonal signal, then cross correlation function is 0. Then maximum value of cross correlation function rxy of tau occurs at the arithmetic mean of rxx of 0 and ryy of 0. Here rxx of 0 is nothing but autocorrelation function of x of t. ryy means autocorrelation function of y of t. Now take average of those two, average of rxx of 0 and ryy of 0, that is rxx of 0 plus ryy of 0. That is the maximum amplitude of cross correlation function, that is greater than or equals to rxy of tau. Similarly, you can take geometric mean also. Maximum value of cross correlation function occurs at geometric mean of those same thing. It is arithmetic mean, this is geometric mean, root of same thing, rxx of 0 into ryy of 0. This restriction is called Schwartz inequality. It is a Schwartz inequality. These are the properties. Okay, that is the end of signal transmission through linear system. Signal transmission through linear system. Now see some problems here. Evaluate the autocorrelation function rxx of tau, energy spectral density psi xx of omega of a periodic signal x of t equal to k e power minus at of t. For competitive examination, no need to do complete analysis. Okay, this is a general procedure I have given, but this is a standard question actually. We have to know the answer for this question. It is a decaying exponential signal with an amplitude of k. K is the amplitude of a signal. Okay, autocorrelation function of k e power minus at u of t. Okay, this is a procedure like apply formula and evaluate and everything. Finally, we will get some answer. All of you know this answer. It is very important. This final form is very, very important. Concentrate on this. Autocorrelation function of a decaying exponential signal k e power minus at. K e power minus AT. We need to take the product of what? Original signal and delayed form. If you take product, K into K becomes K square. After integration, we will get by A, but here we will get K square by 2A, 2 times. K square by 2A. K becomes K square by 2A. And e power minus AT becomes e power minus A modulus of T. Why modulus of T? Autocorrelation function is always symmetrical about y-axis. Even already where that is under property, first property. Autocorrelation function Rxx of tau is even function in tau. It is always even, symmetric, and total energy can be computed. Okay, see now here, see this is important. This result is important. Autocorrelation function of given right-sided signal or right-sided causal, that is e power k e power minus AT u of t. Answer is K square by 2A e power minus A modulus of tau. See the graphical representation. See the graphical representation, how it looks like. It is a even, symmetrical about y-axis with amplitude maximum K square by 2A. Means maximum amplitude of autocorrelation function occurs at horizon. Yes, it is the maximum amplitude. And what is the total energy? They sometimes in examination they will ask what is total energy, what is the maximum value, like that. Okay, here total energy is nothing but tau is equal to 0. If tau is 0, e power 0 1 K square by 2A. K square by 2A is nothing but maximum amplitude. The maximum amplitude is called total energy of signal x of t. Okay. Now energy spectral density. What is energy spectral density? Fourier transform of autocorrelation, nothing but energy spectral. Energy spectral density can be computed by using Fourier transform. Simply apply Fourier transform here. Fourier transform of Rxx of tau. Fourier transform of K square by 2A e power minus A modulus of t. K square by 2A is constant. Take it outside. Fourier transform of e power minus A modulus of t. Fourier transform of is a double exponential signal. For every double exponential series, standard question answer is 2A by A square plus omega square. Fourier transform of e power minus A modulus of tau or t, whatever is 2A by A square plus omega square. Here A gets 2A gets cancelled. K square by A square plus omega square is nothing but energy spectral density. Draw the graphical form. It is also even, symmetrical about y-axis. At omega is equal to 0, amplitude is K square by A square. K square by A square is the amplitude which occurs at horizon. After that, if omega increases, amplitude decreases. It is a nonlinear shape. It looks like a Gaussian function. Okay, it is also even, symmetric. Okay, that is the procedure to calculate energy spectral density. Energy spectral density and autocorrelation function form Fourier transformable pairs when x of t is energy signal. Okay. Similarly, another problem. Evaluate again autocorrelation function power spectral density, not energy. Power spectral density, because here x of t is power signal. Sinusoidal signals are power signals. Exponential signals are energy signals in general. Okay, here A cos omega naught t plus t. It is another important and standard question. For this question, autocorrelation function. Answer is A square by 2 cos omega naught tau. A square by 2 cos omega naught tau. What is the question? A cos omega naught t plus theta. If you take product A cos omega naught t plus theta into shifting form, amplitude is A into A square cos omega naught tau. Theta, dummy variable. Result is not the function in theta. That is very important. A square by 2 cos omega naught tau. See, draw the graphical form. It is a cos function. With the maximum amplitude. See the red shape. It is autocorrelation function of given signal with maximum amplitude of A square by 2 and minimum amplitude of minus A square by 2. It is band limited to A square by 2 and minus A square by 2. Here, see, it is the maximum amplitude. It is the maximum amplitude, and it is symmetrical about y-axis. It is symmetrical about y-axis. And power spectral density. What is power spectral density? Fourier transform of autocorrelation function. Fourier transform of autocorrelation function is called power spectral density. It is represented with S x x of omega. That is Fourier transform of R x x of tau. Here a square by 2 is constant. Take it outside, a square by 2. Remaining part, Fourier transform of cos omega naught tau. Fourier transform of cos theta. It consists of two pulses, two impulses which are located at omega is equal to omega naught and omega is equal to minus omega naught. It is located omega is equal to omega naught. It is omega is equal to minus omega naught. It is symmetric. Okay. For this, pi into del of omega plus omega naught plus del of omega minus omega. That is the frequency domain of cos function. Frequency domain of cos function. Okay. Therefore, it is also standard question. Power spectral density of a cos omega naught t plus theta is pi a square by 2 del of omega plus omega naught plus del of omega minus omega naught. Similarly, a sin, previously a cos. For a cos, answer is a square by 2 cos omega naught. For a sin, for that also a square by 2 cos omega naught does not vary, irrespective of sin or cos function. For both the functions, autocorrelation function is same. It is very important. It is very important. Autocorrelation function of sinusoidal signals. Sinusoidal signal, that may be sine signal or cos signal. For both the signals, autocorrelation is same. A square by 2 cos omega naught tau, and theta is also dummy variable. Result does not depends on theta value. Theta value. Okay, same. If it is same, then power spectrum is also same. Power spectrum is also same. Means here for given question, a sin omega naught t plus theta or a cos omega naught t plus theta, energy spectral density and power spectral density is same. Okay, that is the end of today's class, and that's the end of signal transmission through linear system module. Signal transmission through linear system module. In next class, first we will see the questions given in various competitive examinations. And around 30 to 35 questions are there. First, we will discuss all these questions before going to next module. Before going to next module, first we will see. Already I have uploaded complete material. I don't. One student is there. Student name. Harshita. Is there? Harshita is there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And share that material to your friends, and also I will give this material also. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. We will meet in next class, and we will discuss first these multiple choice questions. Just giving question and answer is not correct. In my view, we have to give complete information, and your role is to search or go for questions like. Okay, I have given some questions in material also, and go for like previous question papers, and these are the questions given in various not only GATE examination, various competitive examinations. These are the questions given. Okay, next class we will discuss all these things. Thank you for patient listening.
Thank you. Sir. 56. Hello, 56.